Hello and welcome to Sky247.net presents Not Just Cricket. I have to say we've all got our money's worth of cricket today. It's definitely been a very interesting Saturday with two fantastic games. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm a very happy bunny, being a Gujarati, who bo khush chu that my team has won. So let's start off with Azharji. Let's talk about
Yes.
Gill because, he was as I wouldn't say as elegant and gracious as you, but he's very, very effortless. So let's just talk about him, please.
First of all, I must congratulate Niall for, getting it right. Gujarat Lions.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank you.
Thank
good
you.
thing. Very, very good.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank
And
you.
I think today Shubman Gill really batted well. And the way he played, the way he took the innings, it was outstanding. Great batting. But I still feel that when he got out in the 17th over. Another 18 balls to go. So he could have maybe.
Mm,
When you're a batsman, you're playing at that level. You have all the. You have to think all the time. 84 is outstanding because of his 84. I think. The team could manage to get 172, the Gujarat. But still, I think. I felt that. Always. As a player, as a batsman, I always feel that he could have done much better. But I think the way he batted was like the way he should be batting.
absolutely. Niall, teams batting first have performed very well today. So do you think that might set a new trend?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, it was nice to be just even it out a little bit. There wasn't much dew actually tonight. It didn't assist Delhi as much as it assisted teams in the previous kind of 4 or 5 evening games. I thought Gujarat totally outplayed Delhi. Saying that, Delhi had their moments all through the game. There was little moments here or there where just you make a little mistake, maybe you get your thought process a little bit wrong, or your execution is wrong, whether that be with bat or ball. So Delhi weren't that far off actually. It's a convincing win in the end, but it wasn't. It could have been a lot closer. But Gujarat, they're just playing some good cricket. I was really happy, to see Shubman Gill play like that, because in the first game he came down, had a bit of a wild stroke, and hit one straight up in the air, and it was a fairly soft dismissal. And you think you're too good for that. You're too good just to gift it away. So to see him come back and play the way he played today, aggressive. He went through the gears. He showed exactly why people all around the world, not just India, they purr about him. They really like him as a cricketer. So it was great. It was a great knock. Laid the platform, laid the foundation, and it's a pretty polished performance.
Absolutely. Azharji, आपको क्या लगता है ये गेम कब चेंज हुआ था? Like आपके हिसाब से when did the change actually happen?
Well, I think जब रन आउट हुआ वहां से मेरे ख्याल में एक 61 रन की पार्टनरशिप थी, वहां से थोड़ा फिर उसके बाद में कंटिन्यूसली विकेट गिरने लगे. अगर आप देखिए जब आप 172 आप चेस कर रहे हैं और आप लास्ट के जो 4 ओवर है आपके जो टेलेंट बैट्समैन बैटिंग कर रहे हैं, तो आपको तो मैच हारना ही था, क्योंकि पूरे विकेट पहले ही गिर गए थे और ऋषभ पंत उसके बाद फिर आउट हो गए. तो मेरे ख्याल में देखिए जब कैप्टन होता है तो कैप्टन को रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना पड़ता है, क्योंकि आपको पता है कि आप जब बैटिंग कर रहे हैं 42 पे बैटिंग कर रहे हैं, तो मैं क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर रहा हूँ, बट लेकिन मैं कह रहा हूँ कि कैप्टन को तो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना चाहिए. वहां पे उनको ठहरना चाहिए था. अगर इनकेस अगर एक आध ओवर में भी 6, 7, 8 या 10 बॉल में भी अगर वो स्कोर कुछ नहीं करते, बट लेकिन उनमें काबिलियत है कि एक ओवर में 20-25 रन भी मार सकते हैं. तो मैं समझता हूँ कि उनकी विकेट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट विकेट थी वहां पे जब आउट हुए. बट वो जो पार्टनरशिप जो ब्रेक हुई वो 61 रन की, वहीं से दिल्ली का मैच पलट गया.
Bilkul. Niall, let's talk about Lockheed Ferguson, fast and furious. Absolutely wonderful. So I'd like you to talk about him for our viewers.
Yeah, brilliant bowler, Lockheed. He's 3 years now, I'd say, he's been kind of dominating the franchise circuit. Comes and spends a lot of time here in the UK playing the Blast. 4 for 28, regularly bowls 150 Ks, but also he's got a subtle change of pace, and he's quite hard to pick up his slower balls. And even tonight, his slower ball cutters were going into the surface. So, a brilliant bowler, because as a batter, when you're facing a bowler that can bowl 150, and he's got a Yorker, he's got a brilliant Yorker, he's also not shy of using his bouncer, and he's got a well-disguised slower ball. So, and he has that kind of aggressive mentality that he's always looking to take wickets. He always wants to take wickets. He's not looking to try and contain and bowl dot balls. He wants wickets. I thought his captained him pretty well today. I thought Hardik, brought him back into the attack. It was a crunch moment. They needed a wicket. When you need a wicket, you go to your go-to men. And Lockheed Ferguson certainly is a go-to player for them. As a captain and as a franchise, when you go to these auctions, you need people who can bowl 150 Ks. You need wrist spinners. And ideally, you need a left-hand hitter. So, they've definitely got, most bases covered there, Gujarat. I think Lockheed Ferguson would have been on a lot of teams' radars in the auction. And it was a good coup for Ashish Nehra, Gary Kirsten, and Vikram Solanki to pick him up.
Absolutely. Azhar, he obviously went, well, I think his technique was the shortest and fastest. That's how he has gone today, right? With his performance.
Lockheed's got a very good action. I think he has a when a bowler is bowling at 150K, and then when he has a very good slower ball as a batsman, it's very difficult to pick, because you never know whether, even if sometimes, if his slower balls are also like coming up to 138, 139. I was watching one ball, he bowled the slower one, but he was almost like 140, 142. So I think it's very hard to face him, because this type of bowlers, you really can't play very aggressively when they are fast. You have to milk them. You have to, they bowl only 4 overs. If you can get 30 runs off there or 35 runs off there 4 overs, I think you have done well. Instead of trying to go for it. Because I always feel that these type of bowlers, if they're bowling well, they will definitely take wickets. As Niall has said, he's a bowler, aggressive bowler. He always goes to take wickets, because as a bowler, it's job to take wickets. If you try to contain, it's very, sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot. But if you look, if you go to take wickets, then your mind is very positive, and then you know where to bowl. So I think Lockie really bowled very well. I think if I was judging the man of the match, I think he would be my man of the match, because he really, in that over he got 2 wickets, 2 very, very important wickets, which changed the course of the game.
Absolutely. Also, now let's talk about Hardik, who came in at number 4 and batted pretty responsibly, if we may say so. Maybe not the best, but pretty well. He definitely got a couple of knocks in.
Yeah, he batted number 4 in the opening game as well. I was actually at that opening game for Gujarat, and when he walked out of 4, he took a lot of people by surprise. But in his post-match interview after game 1, he said he's hopefully going to bat number 4 for the entire tournament, which is good news actually for Gujarat. It's good news for Hardik himself and actually Indian cricket, because he's taken that responsibility to bat long. Today he played really well. He played second fiddle. He didn't try and match his teammates stroke for stroke. He was happy to give the strike back and put the bad ball away. He is technically very sound. He's a genuine all-rounder. Bowls a good pace, a good fielder, and he's a technically very sound batter. So nice to see him get a couple of starts with the bat, and nice to see him bowl his overs. In the 2 games, he's 31 from 27, as you mentioned. Strike rate at 114. It's not going to set the world alight. But I think in the context of the game, he gave good support to his teammates, and that's all you can ask for. Sometimes it's your day, everything comes out in the middle, you find the gap and you stroke the ball beautifully. Sometimes you gotta just accept your lot. But in the grand scheme of things, I think he's done a pretty good job in 2 games now with bat, ball, and as a captain.
Talking about bowling, he got his first wicket in his first delivery, which is great for actually, Team India overall. So let's talk about that. Azharji, his wicket of his first delivery, which was great. So equally good as his batting.
Well, there's a lot of talk about his fitness level when he was trying to bowl, because many people have started talking, saying that, he's not going to bowl because he's got issues with the back. But I think he bowled like 140 or 142. Ks. In one of the overs, So I think if a person who's really have a back issues, it's very hard for him to, go all out and bowl well. But I think as a captain, I think, as Niall said, really did a good job. I think he was there in the beginning. He wanted to be in there with the team. He was not shying away from his responsibilities. Like sometimes when you are a bowler batsman, you always want to go back low down and play, and then bowl maybe third change or fourth change. But I think with Hardik Pandey, I think he always want to be in the center of what is happening. So I think that's what the captain should do. If you're an all-rounder, you have to show the way to the team.
Absolutely. Let's see what our lovely social tracker has to say on the first two games. Let's take a look. Tweet is on Joss Butler. Joss the Beast. Very cute. The next one is Red Bull India bold first to win unless you are at Rajasthan Royals. Apparently gives them wings to bat first. Next one is Shubman Gill 84 and the rest of the Gujarat batters 80. This is from Crick Crazy Johns. And Pradeep says, show me a youngster playing cricketing shots better than Shubman Gill. Well played, future. That's actually nicely put as well. Yeah. Yes.
A couple of good
Do you
tweets.
think Azhar he's the best young batter in India?
Well, I think, yeah, he's got a lot of talent, because I think he's one player, always everybody looks up to him, as Niall has said, in the whole world, they want him to do well. But see, when you have the talent, I mean, your talent has to be converted into performance. So I think his performance has been, like, okay, fine, is up and down, but I think once with so much, talent, I mean, once you get into the side, I mean, I think you should not, I mean, the people should not think of dropping you, somewhere along the line. But I think, the performances is now he's going to play in the IPL. Sorry, in the Indian League, so he's going to really do well, because it'll be a good experience for him, like he's been playing for the last couple of years. But I think we all want him to play for Indian team as well, to cement a place permanently.
Absolutely. Niall, Prithvi Shaw was his under-19 captain as well. So that's something you want to talk about, elaborate about?
Yeah, well, the 19s, the 19s World Cups throw up, a handful of superstars every couple of years. I've just been in the Caribbean watching and working on the last edition, and someone like Divo Brevis has come through that. Yash Dul has come through that. So these are two young superstars to keep an eye on for the future. Yeah, I was listening to the commentators talking about that, especially our good friend Danny Morrison, who was working on that 19s World Cup, and Nick Knight as well. So they couldn't quite figure out, at the time, they couldn't figure out who was going to be the better player, Shubman Gill or Prithvi Shaw. I think for talent, they're both, they've both got talent coming out of their ears, really. They're absolutely sensational players. But when it comes to international cricket, I'm not talking about franchise cricket. When it comes to international cricket, and especially Test cricket, and Azhar's probably better to talk about this than me. I only played one Test match and didn't get many runs, but you need a lot more than talent. You need the mindset and the focus and the concentration to deliver in the toughest of circumstances. And at the moment, you would say Shubman Gill probably has that over a Prithvi Shaw.
And Azhar, would you like to add to that?
Well, I think Prithvi Shaw has got a lot of talent as well. He scored 200 in the first two Test matches he played. But after that, the consistency is not there. See, start, 200s in the first two Test matches. It should not be out of the team at all. It should be always be in the team. Nobody should drop you because you got such an opportunity and you performed. With Prithvi Shaw, he has a lot of talent. But I think at the end of the day, you have to have a good temperament. I'm not just talking about test match cricket, but I'm talking about all formats. You have to have a good temperament. You have to think and play. Because sometimes I know you are a very aggressive player. I know you can blast everywhere, but I think at one point there comes a time where you have to cut down on something if you really want to become big. With Shubman Gill, I think he's played a lot of test matches. I think he's played more test matches than Prithvi Shaw, but hopefully, as I've said, loads of talent, but I think the consistency has to be there. Once you're consistent, like for example, in Rohit Sharma, all these are big players, because why they are played for so many years is because they're consistent. They score every time they're going to bat. Yeah. Every second or third inning, they're scoring runs. So I think we want that to happen with Shubman Gill also and Prithvi Shaw, but I think maybe at times, they have to lose a little bit of brains as well.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, it is consistency. Let's take a look at the points table to see where our teams are standing today. And let's take a look. Niall, if you can just take us through this. This is our points table.
Yeah, well, good start obviously for Rajasthan, 2 from 2. They've played some pretty nice cricket. Kolkata going well. They've obviously lost one, but they're playing pretty steady cricket. And I like the look of Gujarat. I think they're playing some lovely stuff. 2 from 2, which is lovely. Delhi have, they're sitting there with 2 points. It's so early though. The big kind of conundrum or the big question marks. You look right down the bottom. You've got Mumbai second last and Chennai third last. Now these are the powerhouses of this competition, the two best teams in the history of the competition, and they will not enjoy sitting there. Stephen Fleming, Mahela Jayawardene, two very highly acclaimed coaches, two massive franchises with huge fan base, and I think especially Mumbai with the owners behind them, they will not be happy seeing their teams down there. So I'd expect both Mumbai and Chennai to bounce back fairly quickly. 10 teams, obviously, so a kind of new format for us, but it's going nicely so far, especially for Rajasthan and Gujarat.
Absolutely. Let's look at the top run getter and the top wicket taker. Let's take a look at this. There we go. I mean, Niall, we've got Josh and Ishan Kishan joint, more or less, haven't we?
Yeah, both same runs, obviously.
And we've got the most wickets as well over here as well.
Yeah, Umesh Yadav has been outstanding, really. What a tournament he's having so far, and Yuzi Chahal picking up his wickets. Shami obviously had a great game, first game, picked up a few more. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the tournament progresses in terms of spin bowling over pace bowling, especially if the wickets dry out a little bit. Obviously using the same venues over and over again. So I'm sure someone like Rashid Khan, who's had a pretty quiet start so far, I think 1 for 27 in the first game, and today Rashid 1 for 30. So combined figures for Rashid of 2 for 57, if my maths isn't failing me, in 2 games. It's not really standing out for Rashid Khan. Steady figures. I'm sure Rashid Khan will have a big part to play, though, in the wicket column as the comp goes along.
Absolutely. Let's also talk about our first game today, which was Mumbai and Rajasthan. If we can just take a quick look at that. This is the match summary for the game earlier today. Based on what we've seen so far, is Rajasthan the team to beat? To both of you, please.
Well, I think Rajasthan really played very well, because the Mumbai team had to really blame themselves, they kept losing wickets. Only 2 players played well. Ishan Kishan 54 in 43 balls, and then Tilak Verma. When you get such good start, if you are a good player, if you really want to become very good, I think you have to win games for your side. So I think they had a very good opportunity, both of them. They could have carried on and then won the game for Mumbai. But as I've said before, if you keep losing wickets, it's very hard to be in the chase, because I think they lost it when they started losing wickets. They lost the game. When you lose so many wickets at such regular intervals, you don't expect to win the game.
Absolutely. Now, Mumbai usually tend to, we spoke about this when we did our show the other day, tend to have a slow start. But the difference with this year is there's far more competition. So that's going to shift things and put a little bit of more pressure on it as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. No team wants to go north from 2, and then all of a sudden, you're going into your third game thinking we can't lose, we can't be north from 3. So there's a lot of work to be done behind the scenes. They're not playing very well, actually. Truth be told, they're not playing great cricket, especially with ball in hand. I don't think they're bowling very well, by a couple of their options. So, but it's still early. One of your questions are Rajasthan in the hunt for the tournament? Do I like them? My answer is yes. I thought they did pretty well in the auction, and their availability of their overseas players is good. You look at some of the teams, the likes of a Punjab Kings, for example, someone like Johnny Bairstow has missed the start of the tournament, and he's going to miss the back end of the tournament because he's going to be on test match duty. So these are the little things that could just upset a franchise like a Punjab, for example, who's got a lot of quality. So Josh Butler for Rajasthan, he's not going to play Test cricket for England probably ever again, and definitely won't be playing the first Test this summer. So he's available for the whole tournament. Hetmeyer's available for the whole tournament. Trent Bolt is available for the whole tournament. So all of a sudden, the bulk of your overseas players fully available, and that's a massive plus point for any side, especially Rajasthan.
Absolutely. Talking about our next game, let's talk about tomorrow. We have Chennai and Punjab. 2 losses for Chennai and 1 win and 1 loss for Punjab. Both teams in desperate need to win. If I can have a quick word with both of you before we go. Azharji, let's talk about tomorrow's game. It's going to be very, important.
I think Chennai is a very experienced side. I'm sure. I mean, the loss which they have lost the games, because I think will definitely be hurting us. Niall has said, the third last and second last Mumbai and Chennai. So I think they would definitely want to get off the blocks, But I think Punjab team is also not a very bad team, but they have a very good side this time. So I think it's going to be a very tough game for Chennai because with two more teams coming up in the league, it's going to be very tough because both the teams which are here, the Lucknow and the Gujarat, they're as good as any team, which was there before. So I think there'll be a lot of competition. If you think that Mumbai and Chennai are going to have it easy, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult.
No.
As we have found out now in the last, 2 or 3 games, they've really faltered. As Neil said, they're not playing good cricket. They're not playing cricket with common. You have to have some common sense also. I mean, it's not like just going in and blasting, hitting sixes all the time. But there are times, where you have to use some common sense as well. So if they play to their potential, they're always, and then sometimes they need to use that common sense.
Absolutely, Niall. I see you nodding your head, so I know you second that.
Yeah, I do. I think Chennai. I think they'll win tomorrow. They'll rally around. They would have had knowing Stephen Fleming and the people involved in Chennai. There won't be a knee-jerk reaction. It won't be toys won't be out of the pram. It will be a discussion. They will acknowledge, as Azhar said, they're an experienced team. They will acknowledge we haven't played well so far. We haven't done the basics well. Let's put that right. We don't become a bad team overnight. We are one of the most successful franchises in the tournament's history. Go out, do the basics well, and I think Chennai will be okay. The big plus point I'm led to believe, and I could be wrong, is that Rabada is available tomorrow for Punjab. So that is a big boost. You got someone who can bowl. We're talking about Lockheed Ferguson, bowling 150. Kagiso Rabada, he is a 145 bowler. Doesn't quite get to 150 that often like Lockheed Ferguson, but he is a massive wicket taker. We saw him at Delhi a couple of seasons back get a rake load of wickets, especially at the death overs. He is a specialist.
Well, this is the beauty of T20 because anything can happen and it clearly changes every single day, which I love. And we're going to talk about this far more in depth tomorrow. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. We'd love to hear more from you and your comments. So please do send them in, and lots of love. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.